Sure. Sure. అది ఏమో ఒకవేళ ఆయనకు తెలుసన్నా సరే షూర్
Hello guys, good morning. Sorry, good evening. Good evening everyone. Okay, hope everyone is doing great. Good evening everyone. Hope still few more has been joining. Yeah, let them join. I think hope everyone have a great Sunday. Okay, we'll wait for like a few more minutes and we'll start with an HTML CSS intro. We're gonna start with CSS. We're gonna have a fresh CSS, and I'll try to we'll try to talk about what are the basics of CSS and how it is going to help, what all the CSS can do. Okay, these sort of things we'll be we will we'll discuss. I will try to take you all over this. Okay guys, so good evening everyone. Once again, we'll jump into to our topic. Today we are going to discuss about CSS. The previous class which we have discussed, we have already introduced with CSS, what are all the different ways we are going to write our CSS. We have already seen that, and today I will show you what is CSS. I'll take you through what is CSS and what is the history of it, and what are all the different ways we are going to apply the styles to our elements. Okay, and difference between all, and also I gonna see what is selectors, what is properties. Okay, first we'll try to talk a few minutes of theory section, then we'll jump into the practical things. Okay, now I'm gonna go with my Sublime text. I'm gonna create a new file. Okay, we already discussed have a doc file here, so in that only I'll try to go through, take you there. Okay, what is CSS? The full form for CSS is, it is going to be cascading style sheets. Okay, which helps. Okay, okay, which is going to help developers. Which is going to help the developers. Okay. Developers to apply styles to HTML elements within the page. This is what the CSS is all about, which helps developers to apply styles to HTML elements within the page. Okay, if you type see now what we are going to do is using CSS. When it comes to HTML, we are like creating an elements in HTML. We can create elements in HTML. When it comes to CSS, we can add all the properties to it, like color, background, like we can give border, or we can increase the font size. We can do all sort of things here. Okay, then when it comes to the history, if you try to check the history of CSS, okay, when it comes to the history of CSS, like we have CSS 1.0 and CSS 2.0, CSS 2.0, and we have CSS 3.0. Okay, these are all the this is the history of CSS. These are all the 3 versions, and the current version is like 3.0. okay, 3.0 is the current version of CSS. Like on what are all the ways we can apply, like we have talked about this, we have discussed about this in the previous session. Again, like I just want to mention it, like here I already mentioned it. Okay, different ways to write CSS. I just want to copy this and I'm gonna paste it here. Okay, different ways to write. Okay, now if you try to check now, and also like the differences between all of the above. Okay, what are all the differences between, like what is inline element, like what is inline, internal and external. We already aware of it. Like what is inline, it is going to be like the whatever the CSS which we are going to write inside the HTML elements. Okay, we call it as inside the open tag. Okay, we call it as inline stylings. Okay, when it comes to internal, whatever we write inside the page in the head tag using the style tag, we call that as internal stylings. When it comes to external, what is external, which we are going to create a separate file for it, external file for it with the extension of .css. Okay, and we are going to link that to our home page. Okay, whatever the page which is going to have, that we call it as external stylings. Okay, now if you have if you are not aware of it, please check our previous video so that you will comes to know like what is inline, what is internal and what is external. Okay, today we are going to talk about like what are all the core concepts of CSS. If you try to check what are the core concepts of CSS. Okay, we have selectors as well as properties. We have selectors and properties. Okay, when it comes to selectors, what is a selector? Which is going to help developer to select a particular element. Select an element. Okay, think that we are inside a class. Okay, if you want to if you want to call someone, how you are going to call? Using their name or roll number, anything, ID or something. Okay, that is what the selecting that particular person. Okay, that we call it. In the same way, when it comes to this elements, how we are going to select that particular element. Okay, using CSS. What are all the different ways we can select. Okay, I will try to explain that as well. That we call it as selectors. Okay, when it comes to the properties, okay, what is a property? Which helps in real time. Like what is a property? You think that we have a car. What are the properties of car? The color, the tires, and all the things, the steering, the brake, these are all the properties. Okay, in the same way, when it comes to our elements, what are all the properties we can add to it? Okay, which helps developer to apply properties to an element for styling. Okay, this is what the property is all about. Okay, now what are all the different, how many like different selectors we have, and what are all the properties we have? We'll try to like we'll try to like go step by step. How many selectors we have, okay, and as well as how many properties we have. We have a lot of properties. Okay, Control S. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna like save this as css intro dot txt. This is going to be like a txt file. Okay, now I have saved this. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a new file and we'll jump into like our coding. Okay, now I'm gonna write the basic syntax, doc type, HTML, okay, and the root element HTML, okay. Inside this HTML, what we have? We have head tag and body tag, head as well as the body tag. Now I'm gonna save this as introduction to CSS. Introduction to CSS dot HTML. Now it is like everything is set and ready to go. Now I'm gonna add some title for it. We have introduction to CSS. When it comes to the body, what are all we include in body? Like I'm gonna like just have like what are all the different heading tags we have? H1 to H6. I just gonna add some heading here. Okay, inside this we're gonna from here on like we're gonna start now our styles. Okay, when it comes to our inline CSS, how to write the inline CSS style is equals to I'm gonna write color of I'm gonna give some green color to my text. Now I'm gonna like welcome to AchieversIT. Okay. Now if you try to execute this, open in browser. See what in what way we have like executed this using inline CSS. You can also write for internal as well. Okay, and also how we are going to write internal styles here, we're gonna write using style tag, and which is the always the preferred way in the sense it is going to be always external. Okay, we should not use inline regularly. Okay, in very rare cases we are going to use this inline stylings. Okay, when it comes to inline stylings, it is always going to create a problem and it is going to increase the lines of code. It should not happen in our cases. If you try to check, now what I'm gonna do is like I'm gonna create a few more elements here, H2, and I'm gonna add like H3, few more heading tags, and I'm gonna add the same thing here. Okay, welcome to AchieversIT. Now what I'm gonna do, if you try to check, that is what happening here. Welcome to AchieversIT. We have like welcome to AchieversIT. Now what we are going to do is I want the same color or any different color. If you want the same color, now what you are going to do, I just want to write this again. Okay, if you like copy paste, I just gonna copy paste it, and if you try to check, this green color is applied to all the three elements, H1, H2 and H3. Now if you try to understand, but what the thing is happening here, we are writing the same thing again and again. If you have like, we have 3 here, so that we have written inline stylings. When it comes to, we have like 10 lines of code which needs to be applied the same color. Then in what is the how are you going to write the 10 lines of code again and again? Okay, it should not be the case. Okay, there is also a principle called as dry principle, which we are going to violate it. Okay, what is this dry principle all about? In the sense, it is going to have like, don't repeat yourself. It is going to tell, like, the full form for dry principle is don't repeat yourself. What is this don't repeat yourself? In the sense, you should not write once you have like the code which is there, you need to like reuse it. Okay, you should not like duplicate it again and again. See, we have this same property, but we are like writing it the same property again and again. Okay, to overcome this, what are all the different ways we have to like select to write our properties? Now what we are going to do is like, here comes our selectors. Okay, first we'll try to talk about the basic selectors. Okay, what are all the basic selectors we have? First we'll try to like talk about it. Before going there, we'll try to understand what are all these things. Okay, when it comes to style, okay, it is going to be an attribute because it is inside the heading tag. So I mean, whatever the tag it is going to be like, which is going to be inside the opening tag, we call it as attribute. This is an attribute. Then this is equals to is assignment operator. Okay, when it comes to this is equals to, it is an assignment operator. And when it comes to this color, it is a property. We call this a property, and this is a property value. When it comes to this, it is going to be a separator. Okay, this we call it as the separator. This we call it as separator. Okay, this is how the overview I can say. Okay, now when it comes to, we are writing some styles here. Now what I gonna do is, we are going to like talk about the basic properties, and if you want to like add multiple colors here or multiple properties here, what you are going to do, we are going to like use this semicolon. Okay, and we are going to add some properties here. Background color, hit enter. Now I'm gonna give some red color. Control save, and if you try to reload the page, so you can see a background color is applied to our h1 element. Understood? Now see, this we call it as line terminator. Okay, we call it as terminator. Okay, now what we are going to do is, we are going to like talk about the basic. So like what are all the basic selectors we have? We are going to talk about the basic selectors we have. Okay, in that way, what are all the ways we have? If you try to check, I like get you through it. Now we have like style tag. Now what I'm gonna do is, we have like here comes the selectors. In what are all the ways we can select? Okay, when it comes to we have, firstly we'll try to talk about universal selector. Okay, universal selector is going to represent with star. Okay, and the syntax is to write any styles. Okay, the syntax is going to be like open flower brackets and close to flower brackets. What is this open flower brackets and close to flower brackets is going to do in a sense? Okay, we can write all the properties inside it. For example, like I'm gonna give some properties here. Common properties which you like, universal selector is nothing but which is going to apply to all the properties inside the page, all the elements inside the page. Okay, now I'm gonna give some background color. Background color. For this, what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna add some color for it. I'm gonna give some like red color or yellow color. Now I'm gonna save this, and if I try to reload the page, see, for my background it has given yellow color. Okay, now if you like adjust past the color, then it is going to apply for all the properties to the background color to yellow. Okay, but we have given, this is where the priority comes into picture. I'll try to explain this as well, don't worry. Okay, now this is like, we call it as universal selector. What is this universal selector is going to do is, it is going to like select, it is going to apply to all the properties inside that particular page. Okay, not only this, you're gonna give like font size as well. Font size of, I'm gonna give some 40px. This is also not going to apply, it is going to apply. Now if why it is applying, in the sense we have given past font size of 40 pixels. So when it comes to the previous thing, h1, h2, h3, we have 3 properties, but the font size is different. But when I have passed this font size of 40 pixels in the universal selector, what it is going to do is, it is going to apply for all the elements. Okay, for all the elements it has applied 40 pixels. That is what we call it as a font size, I mean universal selector. When we, in which cases we are going to use this universal selector is in, see, think that we have like completely a font size. In a page we are going to use the same font size, I mean font family, okay, the font. In all, the whole page we are going to use the same font. In those cases we are going to use this universal selector. If you pass this font family here, okay, it is going to apply to the whole page. Okay, wherever the element we are going to write, what are all the elements you have, whatever the element it is going to be like, it is, you are, this property is going to apply, this font family is going to apply. Now next, this we call it as like universal selector. Now we'll try to talk about class. Okay, class selector. What is this class selector? In the sense, I'm gonna write it here. I'm just gonna remove one property, background. Okay, now I'm gonna write some class here. Class is equals to, okay, we have 2 properties in this way, like class and id. First we'll try to talk about like class either or id. Okay, class is equals to, I'm gonna give some name to it. You can, like, it is up to you, whatever the name it is going to, it is up to you. You can give your any name, but it should be related, as a developer it should be related to that particular element, what exactly we are going to do here. Okay, then it is going to make some sense. Okay, or else it is not going to make any sense. Okay, we should like it should make some sense. So what I'm gonna do is, class is equals to, not inside this style tag, we are going to write, this is, that is an attribute. Okay, class is an attribute. So I'm gonna give like h1 tag. Also I'm gonna like head1. Okay, I'm gonna give head1, control S, save. Now what I want, what I'm gonna do is, what is this class is going to do is, it helps us to select that particular element. It is going to if you want to select this particular h1 tag, using this class name we are going to select. How we are going to select? If you try to check, it is, we are going to represent with dot class. Remember this point. Okay, wherever you find the class, okay, if you are like if you want to select that particular element, you using that class name, it is going to represent it with using class. It is going to represent, class is going to represent with dot and its name, class name. Okay, simple, very simple. Now I'm gonna add some properties to it. I'm gonna give color here. What is a color? I have we have already given green color. Now I'm gonna give some orange color. Orange color. Okay, in the same way we have id here. Okay, in the same way we are going to write, create an id here. Id is equals to, id is also an attribute. Okay, when it comes to this id, what is this id is going to do? In the sense, it is going to, for this also we are going to give a name. It is up to you, but it should be like relevant to that particular element. Okay, head id, so that it was telling that heading id. It's up to us, which we can give our own names. Okay, not our own names in the sense, our personal names. Okay, now when it comes to id, when it comes to class, we are going to select it with using dot. When it comes to id, it is going to represent using hash. Okay, what is the id name here? Head id. Okay, and open flower brackets and close flower brackets. In the same way, here also I can add my colors here. Color of, I'll give some blue color here. Now I'm gonna save this and I'll try to execute our page. Now I have reloaded my page. Why it is not happening? Color of blue. Head1. class, Control S, introduction to CSS. Is there any syntax error? Let me check. Color of, okay, that is the thing which we are lagging here. Okay, I just gonna remove this for now. Okay, now I gonna save this. Now if I try to reload, what exactly is happening? You can see blue color here. Okay, what exactly happening in the sense why the previously it is not applying. Now I'll try to explain. Okay, here comes the priority. This priority plays very important role in web development. Okay, first we'll try to understand the difference between ID and class. Then we'll try to understand the priorities. What is this ID and where we need to use this ID? What is this class and where we need to use this class? Okay, see, when it comes to class, okay, class and ID, the both are going to serve the same purpose, which is to select that particular element. Okay, if the both are doing the same job, but when it comes to ID, okay, it is going to be very unique. Okay, if we have used that once we have used that ID name, we should not use that particular ID name anywhere else inside that page. Okay, but when in the case of class, it is not the case. In class name, I can use this class name how many times I want inside my page. I can use this head ID, same ID name again. Okay, it is going to be like very unique, like our Aadhaar card number. Okay, we in India we only have that if we have that particular ID, Aadhaar card ID, no one in India is going to have that particular ID. In that way, this ID has its uniqueness. Okay, but when it comes to class, you can use that class how many times you want, wherever you want, you can use all the times. Okay, now I think you all understood the difference between class and ID. Now we try to talk about the precedence, and also like most of the cases we are going to use class. Okay, in some cases we are going to use this. When it comes to JavaScript, we are going to use this ID more. When it comes to stylings, we are going to use most of the cases we are going to use this class. Okay, now I'll try to like show you some real-time example. I'll gonna like go to AchieversIT website. Now I'm gonna like inspect this, right click and inspect. If you try to check, see, if you can see, wherever you see, you can find the class here. See what are all the inside nested divs. Also you can see the classes for each and every element. You can see a class name. See, you can see all the class names here. See, for each and every class, wherever you go, you can see that class name, class. But very rare cases we are going to have like ID. When it comes to JavaScript, we are going to use that more. In ID is going to be like we are going to use ID more. Understood? Now the next thing. Now we'll try to talk about the precedence. What is this precedence? If you try to understand, see, I have given the same thing. See, I have given for this h1 element only, I have given the color. For this h1 element only, I have given again the color. Okay, I have given orange color and I have given blue color. Which color is applying here? If you try to check, it is the blue color is applying. Why it is applying blue color? Okay, and also I gonna give like inline stylings. style style is equals to color of green. Now I'm gonna save this, or else like I'm gonna give violet, Control S. See which color is applying? My violet color is applying. Why exactly is this applying? Okay, now when it comes to inline, internal and external, okay, this inline is going to take high priority. Priority in the sense, if you write the same properties in inline, internal and external, see we have written inline as well as in internal also we have written. If you write external also, which styles is going to apply. Okay, then it is going to take always the inline as high priority. Okay, see, think that we are in a class. If like, are you going to listen to your class teacher or the next class teacher's name? I mean, whatever she is telling, the next class teacher. Okay, you are going to, for sure you are going to listen whatever your class teacher is going to tell. Okay, that is what is going to happen. When it comes to inline, it is going to listen to inline. Okay, if inline is not there, then it is going to listen to internal. Then if internal is also not there, then it is going to listen to external styles. Okay, in this way, this is like order. First it is going to inline, internal and external. Okay, but we should not like we should never use like inline stylings. We should not use this inline stylings. Either we should use like if it is going to be very small website, small page, then you can like use this inline style. Internal, when it comes to it is a huge one, you always should go with external style sheet. We should always go with external style sheet. Okay, that is always the preferred way. External, here if you try to check, external is always the preferred way. Preferred way to write CSS. Now that is why you can see the color violet is applying here. Now I'm gonna inspect this again. I'm gonna add like again I'm gonna add my external file here. I'll add external file also here. First I'll try to create an external file of, we already have an external file, even though I'm gonna like save this first. style.css. We already have styles.css. We'll have what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna add like I'm gonna add this in my page. How we are going to add inside my page? If you check it here inside my head tag. Now using the link tag. Link again. REL. See, we already discussed about this again, even though REL is equals to relationship. REL is nothing but relationship. Style sheet. STY. We are telling that we are passing a style sheet. And we have an attribute called as href. Href refers to hyper references. Okay, inside this, what I'm gonna pass is the path. Where is our path? Style. What is our path name? Style.css. Now everything is connected. Now we are ready to write our styles here. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pass using either of it, h1 or h2, like class or id. Now I'm gonna give like a dot. What is the class name? Head1. I'm just gonna copy this. Ctrl C and Ctrl V. Only one dot. I'm gonna change this to. I'm gonna give some color to it, like black. Okay, black color. Now I have saved this, and if you try to check and reload, see which color is applying? Violet. See here you can see what are all the colors applying. Okay, which color is applying first? It is going to apply a violet color because inline takes high priority. Okay, if I uncheck this violet, which color is going to apply? Which is going to be like internal stylings. Okay, and also like what is this? Why is this applying? When it comes to class and ID, always like whatever the selector is going to be. Okay, if you have written ID selector using ID is going to take high priority. Okay, in the same way, like when it comes to inline, internal and external, which is going to take high priority? Inline is going to take high priority. In the same way, when it comes to class and ID and other all selectors, what are all the selectors we have apart from this? If you have given ID, okay, if you have given the ID for it, then if you have applied some properties using that particular ID, this properties is going to take high priority. Okay, it will not allow other elements, like it will not allow other styles. See, if you try to check here, we have given ID of color blue, we already given like color of orange, but even though it is not going to apply if the ID is there. Okay, it is going to take as high priority. Okay. Now if I try to uncheck this ID as well, now what is it going to be? See, now we can see here which color is applying? Using class. Class is going to be like next priority. After ID, class is going to be like next priority. We have orange color. Orange color is applying here. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna like uncheck this orange color as well, class selector as well. Okay, now which color is applying? It is going to take external CSS. It is applying external CSS. That is how this priority is going to work. Okay. Now we have like talked about what are all the selectors we talked, a universal and class and ID. I think you all understood. If you have any doubts, like post it in the comments section. After like 8:30 we are going to discuss about what are all the doubts you have. We are going to discuss there. Now we have like tag selector. What is this tag selector? Okay, what is this tag selector in the sense? See, everywhere we are completely talking about selectors. Selectors in the sense to select that particular element. That's it. Endpoint is to select that particular element. Now tag selector in the sense, what is a tag? This h1 is a tag, h2 is a tag, p is a tag. Okay, div is a tag. These are all the tags. How we are going to select that? Using tag name. If you check, h1 is my tag. So see, I just gonna give like h1 and I'm gonna write my styles here. Okay, for h1 what I'm gonna give, like I'm gonna give some background color. When it comes to background color, what it is going to do, I'm gonna give some red color. Save it. If you try to reload, see, red color is applied to my h1 element. If you want to apply the same red color to all your elements, to h2 and h3 as well. Now what you are going to do, you are going to like use multiple tag selectors like h2 comma h3. Now I'm gonna save this, and if you try to reload, see, for each and every element it is going to apply, the background color is going to apply. Now if you try to check, see, previously what we have done, for each and every element we are writing our CSS. See here, see, we are writing our styles. See, the same color, we need to apply the same color, but why we are applying like all the times? See, style to all the elements. That is where this sort of selectors comes into picture. Now we are like, if you check it, we are like nowhere copying it, nowhere, Control S, nowhere. See, we have like just written only once. Background color red. Using comma you can select multiple properties, like multiple selectors, element selectors. It is going to apply for all the elements commonly. Okay. Now why is background color applying like black color? Because I have just removed the inline styles and we haven't used any internal styles. We haven't used any class. See, I'm gonna use this class again. Control, for this I'm gonna use this class. Control C and Control V, Control C and Control V, Control C. Now what will be the output? In the sense, heading head1. What are all the properties which we have given using class? This orange color is going to apply. Okay, orange color is applying. I will try to change new color so that you can see, look it better. Light blue color. Control S, Control V. See, we have light blue color applied here. Okay, now we cannot use this ID. See, I have used the same class name, right? But when it comes to ID, we should not use this same ID again and again. See, this is a wrong thing. We should not use this. Okay, the ID should be only once. You can use the ID here. Okay, you can use the ID here, but you need to change the name. Okay, head ID 2. Okay, if you are going to like change this, then it is okay, but same name we should not use. Control S. Now if you try to reload, everything is cool. Understood? This is how we are going to write our properties. What are all the properties? Like I'm going to give some border as well. Border 2 pixels, solid, brown. I'm gonna save this and I'm gonna reload this. Why it is not applying? 2 pixels, solid, border. Okay, the spelling for border is wrong. BORDER. Now if you try to reload, see, you cannot see that border color. I can change this color, which color to, which is going to, like, I'm gonna give some green color. Now I'm gonna save this and I'm gonna reload this. Green color, you can see that, but like it is a little bit. I'm gonna give some padding so that you can see it better. Padding of 10 px. Okay. Px is nothing but pixels. It is the size which is going to represent. See, okay, it is applying for that, so no issues. Control S. Now this is what all the basic properties which we have. Now I'll try to, like, talk about the next properties. See, I'm gonna add some content like this. You can use any examples. Welcome to AchieversIT. You can, like, all sort of things. H2. Okay, now I'm gonna add something here. What is CSS? Question. This is going to be like question. Now hit enter. Now I'm gonna give some article tag, which we have discussed about yesterday, like the previous class. The semantic tags, which we need to, like, use, which is relevant to it tag. What is CSS? Here I'll just copy it and paste it. CSS, Control C, and I'm gonna paste it here. Now everything is fine. Now if you try to reload the page, what is CSS? See, for each and every style, this 40 pixels is applying, because if you are not applying any set of properties individually, okay, then it is going to apply for, it is going to take, in the end, this universal selector is going to take its priority. Okay, we haven't passed any font size for this and all, because for that way it is taking the font size 40 pixels. If you have given font size of 40 pixels, like reduce here, this is going to take high priority. First ID is going to take high priority, then class is going to take high priority. Now what I'm gonna do is, using my tag selector, I'll try to, like, add some font size. Tag article of, I'm gonna pass some font size of 25 px. Save. Now if you try to, like, check, see, this font size has been decreased because it is going to take high priority. Okay, when it comes to this tag selector also, even though if tag selector is there, if you pass ID, ID is going to take high priority for it. Understood? Now I'm gonna save, and what are all we need? Now here I'm gonna add some border for it. Border of 3px, solid, blue. Control save. Now if you try to check, see, it has come 3 pixels of solid blue color. Okay, this is what is all about the selectors, like the basic selectors which we have. There are few more, like we have multiple selectors inside it. Now we will try to talk about the attribute selectors. What is this attribute selectors? In what are all the ways we can select these attribute selectors? Now if you try to check, I'll, like, explain you in detail what is this attribute selector, what is this going to do, and how it is going to help us, all sort of things. Now I'm gonna create a new file, call it as attribute selectors. This is also like previously, as of now we have discussed the basic selectors, the tag selector. What are all the selectors we discussed? Tag selector, class selector, ID selector, and global selector. I'm gonna like mention this here. I'll mention here inside a comment tag, comments. Here I'm gonna mention. First we talked about universal selector, or also you can call it as global selector. Which is going to represent with star. And also we can call it as universal or global. And we have tag selector. How we are going to represent this tag selector? Using tag name. Tag name. The next one is class selector. Class selector. It is going to represent with dot. When it comes to the last one, ID selector. ID selector. When it comes to ID selector, we are going to represent with hash. Control S. Now these are all the topics which we are talking. Now we'll try to talk about attribute selectors. Control C, and I'm gonna paste it here. Okay. Now I'll try to remove all the content inside it. This I'm gonna hold it for out of all the selectors we have to check that. I'm gonna just hold it. And I have removed all the. I'll remove this all the CSS as well. CSS as well. I've removed all my CSS. Now what I'm gonna do is like, what is this attribute selector? Attribute selector. Now I'm gonna change this to ATTRIBUT, attribute selector. We have attribute selector here. Okay, I'll just gonna remove this as well. The link here. Okay. Now what I'm gonna do is, now I'm gonna save this file as attribute ATTRIBUT, attribute selector .html. Now we'll try to check this attribute selector. I'm gonna create a div here. Okay, inside this, what I'm gonna write? I'm gonna write p tag or any tag, or else here only I'm gonna write what is coronavirus. Coronavirus. This is a question. Now what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna add a p tag for this, or article, a tag, ARTI, article tag. Now I'm gonna like copy some content from like what is coronavirus. Coronavirus. I'll just copy the content here. See, here we have the content. I'll just gonna copy this. Control C, and I'm gonna paste that here. Okay, I have this, all the content added here. Now what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna add some styles for it using class selector. Class is equals to, I can like corona head, and I'm gonna add a class for article as well. Class is equals to, I'm gonna add some class para corona corona para. Using these class names, I can write my styles. I can write internal styles here. Dot. See, now okay, we are not going to use this any sort of like here. What I'm gonna we are like talking about attribute selectors. So why can't we use attribute selectors itself? We will be using these attribute selectors only to select this particular element. Now, how this attribute selector is going to represent? What are all the different ways we have in the sense attribute selectors? Selectors. What are all the different ways we have? We have a has attribute. Okay, there are like a few more attributes like out of like which we are going to talk about. But we are going to talk only which is mostly used. The rest of the things which no one is going to use it. Okay, or which is going to use often, that only we are going to discuss. Attr attribute value equals to and we have attribute value starts with, and we have attribute value which is going to contains. Let's starts with equals ends with and attribute attr value contains. Okay, I gonna like for all this I gonna give an example how we are going to select using these attributes. See, what is an attribute? This is an attribute. This is an attribute. How we are going to select using a particular attribute? I'm gonna show you that. First, we have like has attribute. Okay, for this has attribute, what I am going to do is I'm gonna like add some thing here. Using how we are going to represent this has attribute in a sense. See, using square brackets. Okay, has class. See, wherever you find these square brackets, it is going to tell that it is going to be a attribute selector. Now we are free and we are like free to write our styles. Okay, previously we have passed like we are using like head tags, element tags, class selector, ID selector, everything. Okay. Okay. Now when it comes to, we have used class selector, ID selector, all sort of things. Okay. Now we are talking about attribute selector. See, if you find like a square brackets, that we call it as attribute selector. Whatever the attribute it is going to be. See, class is an attribute. So I have passed class here. Now what I'm gonna do is for that particular thing, I'm gonna change the color of a blue color. Now I'm gonna save this and I'm gonna execute this particular page. Open in browser. See, you can see all the color here. Okay, you can see the blue color is applying for all the elements. Why? Because it is applying for div as well as to article, because it has the same attribute name. See, we have this class. Wherever it finds in our page, wherever it finds the class as an attribute, then for all the properties this is going to apply. Okay, this color is going to apply. Now we'll try to like create one more tag which is having like more attributes. I'll gonna pass like img. Okay, inside this what are all the tags we have? src is equals to which we are going to give the path. For that I just gonna copy any of the image. So if you have any image here, images, we are talking about like give an example for coronavirus. So I'm gonna just download this coronavirus image, save image as. See, whenever you are going to download the image, see, you should never like change the file type. You can change the file name, but you cannot change the file type. Okay, corona image. Okay, hit enter. Now I'm gonna save it in my folder, inside our folder. What is our folder? Inside our E drive, Windows E. Inside our E drive, we have a folder called as demo. We have saved in 1_09. This is our folder. Now what I'm gonna do is inside my downloads, I'm gonna copy that, Control C, and I'm gonna go back to my folder and I'm gonna place this inside. I'm gonna create one folder for images here, IMAGES, and I'm gonna hit enter. Inside this images folder, I'm gonna pass my image, save my image, Corona image.jpg. The file type is JPG. Okay. Now if you try to check how to link that image here. Okay, what is the folder we have? IMAGES. Folder name, it should be like exactly the same thing. A small letter, capital letters also matters. And forward slash in the sense to go inside that particular folder. Okay, now Corona image dot, what is the file type? .jpg. This file type also plays very important role. If you are like changing the file type, that image is not going to reflect in your page. So this is going to be like a very mandatory thing. Now I can open my attribute, this one. Now my image has been loaded successfully. Now what I gonna do for this is I gonna add, like, we have, what are the properties we have? We have alt also. What is this alt? Is equals to alternative text. I'm gonna give Corona image, image. Okay. Now to select this, how we are going to select? We are talking about attribute selectors. What are all the ways we can select? First we have seen as attribute. Now next one, what is the attribute value equals to? So what is that attribute value equals to? Now how to select this attribute value equals to? I'm gonna select that image. For this image, attribute value equals to. For that, I'm gonna select an attribute. Attribute is like src. For src, square brackets. See, all the attribute selectors is going to represent with using square brackets. Src is equals to. I'm gonna copy this whole thing. Okay, that is what equals to. Okay, Control C. I'm gonna paste it. Attribute value equals to here. Attribute value equals to attribute with its value. Okay, now you can write your styles here. What I'm gonna write? I'm gonna give some height and width. Height of 300 px and width of 300 px. Okay, now I'm gonna save this and I'm gonna reload the page. See, the height and width has been increased to 300 px, 300 px. Okay, next, what is the attribute we have? Attribute value starts with. Okay, when it comes to this attribute value starts with, the syntax, a small syntax is going to change. Okay, for that, what I'm gonna do is alt. I'm gonna like now select using alt tag, attribute. See, this is also an attribute. This is also an attribute. Now I'm gonna like use this alt attribute. For this, I'm gonna pass this square brackets alt. Okay, which is going to like starts with, in the sense it is going to like check with cap symbol, and its type is equals to, what is it? It is going to start with CO or Corona image, right? So I'm gonna pass like CO. Okay, next. Now you can write your properties. Inside this, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna add some border of 5px solid. I'm gonna give green color. Save. Try to check in our browser. You can see 5 pixels of green color applying here. See, I think everyone can see. You can see here 5 pixels of a green color border is applying. How, in the sense, see how this starts with is going to see is it is going to like represent with cap symbol. See, it is going to check first alt attribute. In this page it is going to check where all the alt attributes is available. Okay, then it is going to check if you represent this cap symbol, it is going to check with starting index. Okay, then it is going to go here to all the alt attributes, and wherever it is going to like starts with these letters with CO. Okay, it is for all that particular elements these properties is going to apply. Next, when it comes, I think you understood this start attribute. Next, when it comes to ends with a alt of when it comes to ends with, what we are going to pass using dollar symbol is equals to, we are going to use like ends with, what is it? It is going to ends with, it is going to end with image or anything. You can like also use mg, anything. We can like you like img. Okay, if it is going to check this, it is going to like, when it comes to start tag, the syntax is cap. When it comes to ends with, it is going to like dollar. Now you can like add your properties. Now I'm gonna add your border. What I'm gonna give for this radius. See, these are all the properties we have. I'm gonna like 20px. Save, and if you try to reload, see the border has been changed. Okay, using this property also we have changed this thing. Okay, change the border radius. Now what we are going to do, what are all we have, like we can do is like we have like one more property. For that, what we have, attribute value contains. For this attribute value contains, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add one more image, or else I can like use some other attributes. Here I'm gonna add one more attribute called it as id. What is this id? For this id I'm gonna give like corona id. Control S, save. Now what I'm gonna do is, for value, see, if you try to understand, each and everything is inside this thing itself. Okay, attribute, if you understand this, what are all the, this is how you needs to remember this. What are all the attribute selectors we have? We have like 3, 4, 5 set of attribute selectors as attribute. Attribute value equals to, attribute value starts with, attribute value ends with, attribute value contains. If you try to remember this way, okay, it is going to be very easy. In the name itself you can easily understand value contains. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pass for this, it is going to like we are going to represent with universal selector, square brackets, id, we have id select, attribute is equals to, what are all we have, when it comes to value contains, it is going to have star. Okay, star in the sense universal. In this particular attribute, wherever you find this particular thing, ron, I'm gonna pass ron is equals to, I'm gonna pass ron. For this, what we have given, I'm gonna pass some background color, background color of green. Now I'm gonna save this, and if you try to reload the page, you can find the green color applied to it. Okay, how it is applying? ron. Where is this ron? Wherever inside that attribute it finds, in the whole thing, in that whole particular id name, if it finds ron anywhere, see here the ron is available. Okay, for that all the properties it is going to apply this particular styles. This particular styles is going to apply to that particular element. Okay, I think you all are clear. These are all the different ways to select our element using attribute selectors. We have like few more attributes which no one is going to use this. Okay, this is like more than enough. I think everyone is clear with this. Okay.
In no comments is used.
Okay. Now what I'm gonna do is, I think this is it's I have given the assignment on Saturday, and those who are completed, please try to forward us. Okay, we are going to validate it, and we are going to keep a track on you guys. Now what you are all going to do is, please try to use all these attribute selectors and try to create. Yesterday we have also discussed, the previous class we have discussed about the flex. Okay, for this particular thing you can create, we are going to share you guys a small image. Okay, you guys try to create that particular image using coding. Okay, you can using attribute selectors. Okay, the same thing you need to create using general selectors. Okay, which we have talked, the basic selectors, or we call it as general selectors. First you need to create that same image using general selectors. Okay, once it is done, the same thing you need to create using attribute selectors. You should not use any other selectors apart from attribute selectors. Okay, that is the task for today, guys. Okay, today this is enough for today's session. Okay, now if you have any doubts, and also we are going to forward you the attendance sheets at 8:30. Okay, we are going to forward you the a feedback sheet, okay, at 8:30. If you have in this meanwhile, if you have any queries or any questions, please feel free to ask us. Okay, let us know in the comment section, so that we are going to resolve it. Okay, and we have also a UI developer, one more UI developer with me. Okay, who is Prabhakaran. Okay, he is going to resolve all your what are all the queries you have. He is going to clear all your doubts. Okay, he is also a senior UI developer. Okay, he is available today. From today on, he is also going to available to us. Okay, he is going to clear all your sessions. I mean, if you have any queries, and also he is going to take care of all your the tasks which you are sending, everything. He is going to track. He is going to verify your task which you are forwarding us. He is going to take care of all sort of things. Okay, now I'm gonna just head it over to Prabhakaran. Okay, if you have any queries, just let him know. Let him know in the comment section, so that he can clear all your doubts. Thank you. Okay, please Prabhakaran, please.
Yes, sir. Good evening, guys. This is Prabhakaran. I'm a senior web developer. I'm working for 6 months in AchieversIT technology. Chaitanya sir explained today's session. Is there any queries regarding this today's session or previous section? Please comment us. I will clarify doubts. Is there any queries regarding today's session? I am waiting for your queries. I saw more comments from the Hemant Abhiram Somraju. First, he asked about text CSS text slash CSS. Mr. Hemant Abhiram, in HTML5 we don't need to define text slash CSS. Okay. So next in HTML5 now. Next. Sir, they told that this alt attribute. So fresher can't understand the purpose of alt attribute. Okay. In image alt attributes why we are using means suppose the image in the browser is not working means at the time what we mentioned inside the alt attribute is will appear in the browser. Okay. Now you got it, yeah, Mr. Ahmed Ambiram. Sir, can you explain about division tag and attribute tag? Division tag. Saravana, division tag is a block level element and attribute is not a tag. It is a by using attribute we can give styles, more styles for the division tag. Okay. Is there any more queries regarding the previous session or today's session? And one more excuses to Hemant Abhiram. If you know more about the content, please. If you if you want any doubt means please ask in the AchieversIT website. But don't discuss in the comment because you are knowing more data regarding technologies, but you are confusing the other also. So don't do that. If you have any more doubts regarding the session or any other technology you need to learn more, come to AchieversIT website and contact us. Okay, we can solve your problems, but don't confuse the fresher because we can move the basic to advanced. Suddenly we can change our server. We can't be able to change our servers. Okay, so please I excuse you.
Hey,
No sir. Is there any queries regarding session? I am waiting for you guys. And please let me know what is the feedback of the session. Is there any drawbacks for today's session? Please comment in the comment box. It will be helpful to rectify the problem for the future section. No comments. No comments. Okay, our team will share attendance sheet in comment box. Please fill the attendance as well as the feedback. We are waiting for a feedback. Please fill. Sir, night today classes. Today class is exam. Okay. Is there any queries for the previous session? Previous session. Okay. No session. No, I have sent something. It is same also. Okay. This now open is okay. I saw the comments link is now opening. Please see the WhatsApp status. There is a link I upload. Take the link from here, from WhatsApp status, and share the notes for your friends. Okay, sure, we will share the notes. If the person who needs the notes, please contact to AchieversIT and give your mail ID. We will share your notes. Okay, sure. For 2 minutes, I will speak about AchieversIT. AchieversIT is available located in Bangalore BTM location. Okay. I hope that everyone is studying college 3rd year, 2nd year, I think. After degree completion, if you have any doubts regarding your career, building career, you can contact AchieversIT, because this will fill our institute. Our motive is to give build a good career to our students. Okay. If you have any doubts regarding your career, mainly in IT sectors, technological oriented sectors like Python, CSS, HTML, UI development, web development, anything, front end, back end, anything. If you have any doubts regarding the session, please contact us. We will help you. Okay. one more request. Please send your task in email. Don't send it to the WhatsApp or any text messages, and send with HTML coding, because it is easy for me to validate the code, because we don't need any image format. Okay, we need how you are coding. We want to see how is your coding type. Okay, because if there is any mistake in this code, I will explain you in the future section, because many of the person are send the code like a image format, only output, but that is not enough. Please send your input code. Comments. No comments from your side. I hope everyone understands this session. Okay. I shared in WhatsApp. What's the status? Okay, we will end up. Can you please share the notes for us? Yes, we will share. If you contact your AchieversIT and give your mail ID, we will share your notes to your mail ID. Okay. Is there any